Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing great. Today we will have adverbs that compare. First, you have to log in using the aplusstudent.com. Click on your name, move on to language at the grade 6. The chapter is adverbs that compare. The subject is language art, of course, and the lesson will be form and use comparative and superlative adverb well, well, better, best, badly, worse, and worst. Okay. What class are you referring to, Michael? What grade is that, please? What grade are you referring to? We didn't have a grade 6 class yesterday. Usually, our schedule for grade 6 is on Mondays, then Wednesdays, and then on Friday, we have a joint class for both grade 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's like the schedule for grade 6. Okay, so we will start now. You can use adverbs to compare actions. So they're used to compare actions. So we can use adverbs to basically compare actions. So we have comparative and superlative adverbs. Now, the comparative adverbs compare the action of a person, thing, or group to the action of to the action of some other person, thing, or group. So basically, comparative is comparing two between two. So it's compared between this person and the other person, just two. Then we have superlative that compares the action of a person, thing, or group to the action of a larger group that it is part of. So for superlative, it's comparing like a larger number, okay? Just not just two, okay? It's comparing between a bigger number. But comparative compares two, superlative compares a larger number. So we also have this. For adverbs that have one syllable, you have to add er to make the comparative. So if the adverb has just one syllable, you add er to it to make comparative, and then est to make superlative. If the base ends with e, drop the e before adding er or est. So for superlative, we have est, and then for comparative, we have er. Okay, so just like this over here, we have the base, comparative, and superlative. We have soon, sooner, soonest. All right, close, closer, closest. So if it ends with e, you have to drop the e and then add the er and add the est. Okay. Then for adverbs that have more than one syllable, add more to make comparative, and then most for the superlative. So if it has more than one syllable for the adverbs, you add more to comparative and most to superlative. So it's like saying safely, more safely, most safely. Okay. And then for the adverb early, you have to drop the y and then add ier. So it becomes like this with the I earlier. Okay, to make the comparative. And then to make the superlative, you have this one, earliest. Okay, so just how like what we have here, early, earlier, earliest. Okay, let's look at some examples. Do you speak informally with your friends than with your parents? So you have to complete the sentence with the correct comparative or superlative. So it will be what? More informally. So do you speak more informally with your friends than with your parents? When we go biking, red usually generally rides close to the curb than I do. So closer, you can see that it's just between two. Remember that if it's just comparing like just one person and another, it's comparative. And then if it's larger group, superlative. In my family, I'm the most stubborn, while my younger sister tends to accept advice, the dash. So the most readily. Okay. So move on to the test. Share your answers with me. So so complete the sentence with the correct comparative and or superlative adverb. All right. Of Jupiter's 60 or more moons, Metis orbits the dash close to the surface of the planet. So close. Is it close or closest? So we have closest, the closest to the surface of the planet. Okay. Molly took our defeat the dash of everyone on the hockey team. So hard, is it hard or hardest? So the hardest, as the sun warms the surface of the earth, the temperature of the land increases dash than the temperature of the water. So rapidly or more rapidly. So we have more rapidly. Okay. Mr. McBride campaigned dash than the opponents and won the election. Had or hadder? So we have Heather. Okay, so of all the traders at his firm, Mr. Larson is known for investing the words cautiously or most cautiously. So most cautiously, Carrie, who runs a bakery and must be at work before 6 o'clock, rarely sleeps in dash than her husband, late or later. So we have later than her husband. The man running the antique auctions talks even dash than Eric does, fast or faster. Okay, so we have faster. Brandon has an incredible memory, so he usually remembers details dash than I do, distinctly or more distinctly. More distinctly. When we go banking, Red generally writes dash to the curb than I do. Close or closer? So we have what's closer. All right, that's it for this particular lesson, which is form and use comparative and superlative. If you haven't done this, you have to make sure you complete this later on, okay? We'll move into the next, which is well, better, best, badly, worse, and worst. All right, so we have comparative compares the action of a person, thing, or group to the action of some other person, thing, or group. So basically, comparative compares between two things, and then superlative compares the action of a person, thing, or group to the action of a larger group than that it is part of. So this is like comparing between larger groups. Okay. All right. So You should ask Tony for direction. He knows his way around dash than I do. So basically, we have well, better, best. So better is comparing like just two, and then best compares like a larger group for superlative. So that's how it goes. So you cannot say we have more better or most best. No, we don't have that. They're irregular, so they're obviously very unique. Okay, so you should ask Tony for direction. He knows his way dash than I do. Well or better. So we have better. Researchers have developed artificial cartilage that performs dash than real cartilage. Well or better. So we have better. Alan adjusted his pitching motion and now he throws much dash than before. Well or better. So we have better. Emily has fully recovered from her injury and now she's skiing dash than ever. So well or better. Okay, so we have better. The interior designer decorated our home dash than I had expected him to. Well or better. So we have better. It is clear that members of the Washington debate team prepared dash than their opponents. Better or best? So we have better and not best here. Okay? So that's it for our lesson today on the adverbs that compare. Can you tell me if you have any questions? If you don't have any questions, we'll end here. And if you haven't done this lesson, you can try to complete it later on in your free time. Okay? So we'll see you again next time. Bye, everyone.